What is up, everyone? Back again with another video. And this one's gonna be kind of a mix up of 3 reviews, kind of in a way, of 3 movies. The 3 movies I've seen in theater the past month. So I'm gonna be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Vol.3, then Fast X, and then, of course, most recently now come out Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So this is gonna be somewhat, I believe, mostly spoilers throughout. But I have done spoiler-free reviews for each of them, each 3 of the movies. I believe, possibly not the Fast X. I could possibly, I don't know exactly, but at least for Spider-Verse and Guardians, I have done separate spoiler-free. So if you have yet, which you should, but if you haven't by any chance, then you can go watch those if you still want to thought normally about them. But if for Fast 16, in case if I haven't done it, I just want to quickly here I can say, like, really incredible, really just epic movie, like one of the best Fast and Furious movies so far, definitely up there with the story and all craziness and all that. A little bit more toned down, but overall still has that really cool action and cool car chase kind of stuff and all that in there. Jason Momoa as the villain is absolutely nuts and really cool. So that's overall I can say. But I'll talk spoilers and get into it in a bit. But first, let's just begin with Guardians of the Galaxy. First off, I know it's been like 3 weeks now, 4 weeks, a month pretty much since it's released. But wow, that movie was absolutely insane. One of the top, like, Marvel movies in a long time. It's just everything in that was so good. The story, the humor, the comedy, the emotion, all stuff, and the action and everything, the soundtrack, everything works so well. And the villain as well, the High Evolutionary, he was absolutely great. The actor that plays, I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name because I know it wrong, but you know who he is. He was in Peacemaker as well. He did an incredible job. I just call him Chuck because that's the right. Chuck did an amazing job. He, like, kind of just took it to another level within the villain style, like just overblown, like kind of obsessed. You just felt it, like how really terrifying that villain can be when it's like going all crazy. How crazy he really is, and you just loved to hate him pretty much. You just love when you saw what he did with all those animals from the beginning, starting all the flashbacks and how he experimented on them, and especially that scene with Rocket and his friends, like, and how he killed Rocket's friends. That moment was absolutely just heartbreaking, and it was like, but also just so jarring, so crazy, because you knew that's gonna happen. We all knew they were gonna be killed. At least most hardcore comic fans, we know that they don't make it out, but we didn't know how exactly it was all gonna go down, and that really did when Rocket finally comes out with Lila and he hugs her, and then you think everything is gonna be at least good for a little while, but they don't even make it even 3 feet away from the cage, and when High Evolution is right there and he just shoots her. He shoots her and kills her. That was just, and the look on Rocket's face, he loses it pretty much, and then he sees everybody else gets killed off too. Like, he goes nuts. He when he takes out everybody else, Thieves and Floor as well. It's just such a emotionally, like, breaking scene. It's just so strong emotion wise. It's incredible how they set that all up, and and when you see Rocket just lose it, he screams and goes absolutely, breaking, just jumps on the, and just starts scratching him up pretty much. And then he looks back and sees that's after Lila dies, and then he looks back and sees that everybody else is also dead. He sees that Tease and Flores also died, and he just, there's nothing left, and he goes away, and he runs away and escapes. But it's really crazy. Everything, all those flashbacks, you really just feel for him and everybody else there. It gets you. It really gets you. It was so impactful and so good. Absolutely incredible incredible job by James Gunn in that sense. It's just so good and well handled. It really got you. It really did get you, and you just felt for him. And then later on, when they reunite, kind of when when the team is trying to bring Rocket back to life, like trying to, and when he's almost dying, and he like he goes, it's like life kind of thing, and he sees them, he sees all of them, and he wants to be with them, but and Lionel says, no, it's not time yet, not yet. You still have things, purpose out there, and it's just, he just makes you like, that made me tear up as well. It's just all that with him and Lila and all those moments were so well handled. And Rocket was really the main focus movie. It just brings you in so good. And the final confrontation between him and the High Evolution and then as well, such a badass moment. And before that, we see him find all the small raccoons as well that are still there. And he finally realizes, like, yes, he is a raccoon, and he does come from Earth, and like he's a raccoon from there. And he saves them all, and it's like so good. And afterwards, he's like, when they all kind of gave, like, no, I'm gonna save everybody. I mean, we're gonna have to save all these as well. We cannot leave them behind, and it's so good. It's so good, and I love all with Rocket. It was so great, and I love the ending that he gets becoming the new leader of the Guardians as Peter Quill leaves, and all that. It's very good and very satisfying. Everybody really gets a satisfying ending in this. I'm happy that nobody died. That's what's the big question before this: who's gonna die? And I'm happy that nobody really did. It doesn't have to be that somebody dies to make a big, impactful kind of conclusion to a story. That doesn't have to always be the case. You can have everybody live and still do it in a good way. Death is not the only way to really show that. And I'm glad that James Gunn went this way and really just gave it all a proper conclusion. The team is still splitting up, but they all have their happy endings. They all are in a good place, and all set off to do different things. And then, of course, we have, like, everybody gets their moments throughout the movie. Nebula really shines in this one. Some of the emotional moments with her as well. It's really good. I love how well Karen Gillan brings that out. She's such a great actress, really. So that is really well done too. And of course, Drax really gets his moments. Gets his story concludes in a good way as well, in a great emotional way, kind of being a father in the end somewhat again, and he connects with the children that were found on the ship, and I love that. I just love that, and Dave Bautista does such a good job there too. And of course, Peter Quill has his good final moment. He's like a great character. It's obvious. Like, Chris Pratt does a great job. And by the end, he gets to come back to Earth and meet his grandfather, and it sets up for more. Like, the final thing is, like, the great legendary Star-Lord will return, right? So we'll see if we get more of him in the future, or in some other way something happens. So I'm not forgetting about Gamora for what she does. It's also really good for her part in this. The past Gamora, of course, the 2014 Gamora. I'm glad that they leave them separate. I'm glad that they don't get together here. Her and Star-Lord don't get together, and then that they just leave it as we were good, but this is how it is now. We're moving on. The alternate path we had, the future you, we would just leave it off and like we were. I think she said, I'm kind of paraphrasing right now. Um, we were pretty cool or pretty great or pretty awesome or something like that, right? And like, yeah, we were the coolest or something like that. I think that's the kind of that they were saying towards the end there. And I love how they left that off that way, and they know that they both have something in the past. Well, for her it was kind of future, but for him past. It's a little complicated that way, but they know they have something like some version that they had in a separate time. Uh, but they know that that's not possible anymore, but they still respect each other and they still move on from that. Gamora goes back to the Ravagers, and it concludes well. It concludes well for her as well, and it's a good way to leave it off there. And of course, Mantis as well gets a good proper conclusion. She's off doing her own things as well. And Groot still with the Guardians Wars. Nebula takes over at nowhere and leads there with Drax. So everybody gets their kind of good final moments, and of course, I cannot forget to mention was Will Poulter, Adam Warlock. Really, really fun character. I like the way they handled him in this, and now they're different from the comics, but still good. I'm very happy about it. I'm glad that he joins the Guardians in the end as well. New Guardians team. Very cool character. Very funny throughout, of course. And of course, she had his mother with Aisha, of course, but she dies. Yeah, she dies in this movie. She gets killed, and like they kind of brush it over kind of quickly, right? But I understand why she wasn't really that integral, and I believe that he probably couldn't feel somewhat sad about it, but it was more like he didn't really know how to feel sad about it overall. He was more like, yeah, okay, moving on. He was trying to do his thing anyways, and keep going. But yeah, maybe I would have wished they could at least shown a little bit if he talked about it afterwards. But it's fine. It's fine for what it is. So he comes in the beginning and really has a good scene in the beginning with her and Nebula and everybody in the first kind of fight scene kind of thing there. It's throughout the whole thing, you kind of feel that feeling of like despair and like really they're all trying to save Rocket and all try to get him good because he gets beat up real bad in the beginning. So they're trying to save his life and they're desperately. You see Peter Quill has really grown close to Rocket and he's really caring for him. And when he finally comes back to life, you know, like after he almost, you can see the relief on Peter's face and you can see how she really is, and everybody understands. And also when they announced that to Nebula, who's on the High Evolutionary ship, you can see on her face like, and she's like Rocket, and like yeah, he's okay, and you can see on her face she gets emotional, and it's so good. It's so really good and so well done, and I'm very happy they put it that way and made it that way. All throughout, such a fun movie, such a good movie. The music in this is as well so good. I love the song choices. Just all great. No Sleep in Brooklyn when they walking throughout, like when they going to fight the missionary, that kind of, and that fight scene in that way, it's so awesome. Towards the end, as well, like, oh, over like that song by Florence and Machine, like that was so good. That you feel the happiness, you feel such a good feeling, and everybody's dancing and everything. But then it's just, and every other song as well. And they have, of course, bring back a feeling, of course, like I believe, and it's just or I think one of the first songs that we overheard, the most iconic one. I don't remember which one it was, but like we get such a good soundtrack once again for James Gunn. He does a great final entry in this trilogy, and it's that he's leaving, but he leaves off with a good one, a really, really good one. And I'm very happy and very thankful that he did this trilogy so much justice and did it so well and made the Guardians very lovable characters. And by the end, we see that High Evolutionary also is still alive. By the way, he gets carried out as well by Drax in the end. So we'll see if he comes back or not. But overall, great stuff throughout the whole thing. Such a solid story, funny moments. The F-bomb was also great. But yeah, very, very good, very, very good, and I'm super happy for that. A very good entry into the MCU. So the next one, then moving on. I'm not gonna try to make this too long. I'll talk about this one pretty quickly. Is the Fast X, which also I'm very happy I got this. I saw, because this one was way different from the last one, but not too much. But it was more dampered down. It wasn't as big like space, kind of like both figuratively and literally. It was a little bit less. It was more grounded, should I say, but still had that feeling of like cool epic action movie kind of stuff in there with the car chases and everything, all that. The story overall with Dom going out and trying to his past, right the wrongs of his past, kind of like with Jason Momoa as the villain coming in, being the son of that guy. I don't remember his name right now, but it was from Fast 7, I believe. Was it? I think it was either from Fast 6 or 7. I think it was Fast 7, right? When I took out the safe from the bank, and he was killed. His father was killed, and then he now wants revenge. 10 years later, he wants revenge. He wants to make Toretto suffer by like slowly getting him to lose stuff that he holds close, like his family and everything. And it's all really boils up to a certain point, and it's like really, really crazy, really, really just over the top. He chooses the scenery so well, and it's very fun. I can see that he had a fun time playing that character. And everybody in this is really, really good. Everybody returns. Jason Statham is in it for a little short, but I'm pretty sure he will be back more in the next one. John Cena once again does a great job. I was very sad during the death scene with Jacob, when he sacrifices himself so Dom can save his son. But it's still a really impactful moment there as well. I'm not sure if he is really dead though, because as I will get to in a second, not everybody stays dead. But there's still a very impactful moment, and there was so much in this movie that I cannot even unpack it just in this, but many interesting sequences. And we have Cypher back, and she's not working up because he turned on her. She didn't want to work with the villain. So there's this great sequence with her and Letty when they're both captured, and not a lot of other great kind of stuff like that. This whole scene in the Vatican as well and all that. It's great, cool popcorn action stuff, and it's maybe not for everyone, but at least I feel like it was very satisfying for me, because it was a fun time. It was really a fun time, and that's all I ask for. But the really spoilery stuff you can really get into, because this is, of course, part 1 of 2 or 3. I don't know what they'll do, but it ends on a cliffhanger. It ends with by the big lake or something, where a big like stuff when the villain, God, I forgot his name now. It's so late. I forgot. It's an easy. I forgot his name. I'm very sorry. I'll leave it down below what it was, but you know, if I've seen, yeah, he's gonna pretty much blow up the whole thing. He crashes the plane that has Dom's crew in it. We don't know what happens to them, but he also then has this big bomb thing that's gonna go off and pretty much kill Dom and his son. And it's like a race against the clock thing. So overall, so just wanted to close the door. But overall, it's that's kind of the ending there. That's what happens. He's like, and that's where it ends. And it's just very funny that so many that cliffhanger. I think this is the year of cliffhanger endings in movies, because that happens there. It happens in the Spider-Verse, which we'll get to in a sec. But also, it happens. It probably will happen in the Mission Impossible, because New Mission Impossible. That's also part 1 of 2. So it's very crazy. But it just makes you like, I want to see the rest. What's gonna happen next? And I think we'll have to wait until like 2025. I think the next one's coming out. But it's still a very solid entry in the Fast series, and very good. And then we get to the post credits, which is just well before the end of the post credit, we already get one big return reveal by then too, which is Giselle actually being alive. Very funny, which I kind of figured they would do that. I kind of figured they will bring her back, because they're bringing people. I'm like, come on, they're not gonna leave her out. Of course, they will bring back Gal Gadot and and bring her in as Giselle again. So she comes in with the big submarine from Fast 9, I believe it was Fast 8 or 9. I don't remember when it was, but the one that was Cypher's before, she has that now, and she comes into out in the big, like, I don't know exactly what it is, but ice place. I don't know, some ice. And she comes in to save and help Letty and Cypher. So we kind of end on that note as well. And then, of course, in the post-credit scene, there's just one post-credit scene, and we get the big return of finally, should I say, yeah, of The Rock as Hobbs. He's back. After he said a few years ago he's never gonna come back, but I guess they worked it all out, or maybe it was just a work to really get more hype around it. I don't know, but he is back as Hobbs, and he will be in the next one as well. So that's cool. That's really, really cool. And that's why I hope that Jacob is also alive, because I would love to see John Cena and The Rock in the same scene like that. That would be very great. But that's a great surprise as well. And overall, really solid movie. If you like that kind of stuff, if you like that action kind of stuff, go see it while it's still out, or check it out afterwards when it comes on stream. But just see it. I think you will definitely enjoy it if you're into that kind of stuff. So yeah, now finally then into the final one, or yeah, that's funny. Across to the final, should I say? Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I'm gonna keep this short because it's still just out, but I'm still gonna do this first here. So if you don't wanna, if you haven't seen it, skip over this. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in one. But if you have seen it, or you go over to just to this part just to hear that. Overall, wow, this movie was just absolutely incredible. The visuals are just stunning in this. The coloring, the everything just brings out the feeling of every character, like the the subtle kind of shifting in the faces of how when they're positioned, and all this attention to detail and everything is so good. And the emotions in the story and the comedy as well, all is so well done. And props to Sony and everybody involved. It's so massively impressive. This whole series, really, even more than the first one, this is just has become something extra special, extra spectacular. Like, it's nobody in it, but it's been so incredible to see how they have just improved even more from the first one. Which already the first one was absolutely insane and so good, but this one even tops it. Like, this brings it to a whole other level with the twists and turns and the story of each character and how everyone does. Miguel, really solid pseudo antagonist, protagonist kind of stuff. In between, kind of very well handled, very well acted or acted by Oscar Isaac. Should be more great as Miles Morales again. Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy or Spider-Gwen, once again, great. And of course, everybody else, like just Hori, Spider-Punk, such a good character, love him. Everybody else in there too. Like, there's so many great cameos, and that's not everything. Even they even said that they left some other really big ones out for the next one. But in this one, we do get a cameo from Spectacular Spider-Man. He also gets a speaking role there too, so that's really cool. We also get, of course, Spider-Man PS4, and we get actually a really interesting, fun cameo from fuck his name. What is his name now? From Donald Glover, right? As Aaron Davis, like live action Donald Glover. They walk past him. They're all like all these villains trapped in like these kind of energy cages or something. He sits there and he has like this live action Prowler suit on. That is so cool. That was really, really awesome. And I hope we get to see that in the MCU maybe down the line as well, something like that. That maybe could be a hint towards, I don't know, but that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And of course, then we have plenty of others as well. Spider-Man in India, of course, he's good, really, really awesome there. The story, we get more in depth with Gwen as well, and her story and how she feels kind of responsible for her Peter's death when he turned into a wizard, and everything that happens there, and how her father reacts to it, and how he's trying to arrest the Spider-Woman, and she reveals herself to be Spider-Woman. He kind of tries to rescue her then, of course, and she leaves with other actual Jessica Drew Spider-Woman and Miguel to go and like fix all this multiversal stuff. She comes back a few months later, and they have this kind of good, later in the movie, they have this kind of good moment between each other when they finally accept each other and like understand each other again. And he says to her that the best thing that he's created done is her, and he kind of quits the force, and not quits being a captain with force, and that like sets something hard for Gwen. Like, yeah, maybe things can change. Maybe everything is not as set in stone as Miguel has said. Because now when he is not a captain, maybe he won't possibly have a risk of dying as many of the other Spider People's captain fathers, if you want to say, like, or fathers that have that kind of same profession have done before. And there's this kind of growing feeling that the Miles father will be also dying in that way, that the Spot will be killing him. And Spot, by the way, a very funny, very interesting and great villain overall as well. That was so much fun. Like, he started off like the villain of the freaking one, and they addressed that as well, and he doesn't like that. He wants to show like, yeah, you made me, like, back in the first one when they crashed there and everything, they made it so that he's the guy that Peter B. Parker throws a bagel at. He's that guy, and he was there at that point when the collider exploded, and that turned him into the Spot, and that really, he's like having a grudge against Miles because he, like, it's all different kind of thing like that. Like, it's very, very funny because that spider that he kind of experimented on, that spider came from another universe, yes, but he fought the spider when they came in, and that spider escaped, and he was the one, like, yeah, doing something, and it wasn't supposed to be there, like, so he says he made Miles, and Miles made him, and he's trying to go after and trying to be this, like, really incredible big villain. But then also, of course, he's by the end of, like, the Spider India sequence, he like becomes, like, all, like, more darker and more like that. And you see Miguel trying to explain to everybody, like, yeah, that things are supposed to happen, things that people are supposed to die, and it's said in this, like, the canon, like the canon situations in throughout the Spider-Verse that's supposed to happen, so things can be all kept together. But Miles doesn't agree with him, and he's trying to escape, and he tries to, like, flee, and everybody chases after him, as you've seen in the trailers, of course. There's all that, and that whole sequence is also so good. It's so full with different fun cameos from all the other spiders and all that stuff, and it just has a lot of great timing in it all. But I love that scene beforehand when they do talk about what's not, because we see small clips, small, like, kind of things from live action Spider-Man, from Andrew Garfield's, from Tobey Maguire's, and I believe somewhat a little bit of from Tom's as well. We see those kind of things in there. I believe to see them may dying, like, part, I believe. I think it's in there. Or Aunt May, should I say. That's really, really awesome, and that's also makes me believe, as I said in my previous video, that makes me believe that there's something much more going on right now, and that they're setting up something big for the live action Spider-Man stuff, and a big, like, yes, live action Spider-Verse thing as well, like, including all that. It's like the Spider-Verse is much bigger than just the animated stuff. Everything connects, live action, animation, everything is in one. All of that really connects, all of that is there. That's just really, really epic, and if they do it right, this can lead to some really incredible stuff. So they set this up very, very solidly, very, very well throughout the whole thing, and I just love the opposition kind of that Miles is that, and he's trying to go against it, and he reluctantly, like, Peter B. Parker has to long the voice of Miguel, because he's already lost, so he doesn't really, his uncle, so he doesn't really affect it directly. He's kind of goes with it, but it's also, you can see the regret on him. You see, like, maybe this is not the greatest way to do it, but we have to, for everyone's for everyone's best. And he has his daughter, of course. He has Mayday, and we see some really nice scenes between him and her and MJ as well, a couple of times, which is really sweet and very nice. And that's really cool. And of course, Gwen, of course, she's regretting not telling Miles, and because she just wanted the best for him, because she knew that this could lead to something like this, and he gets upset by it, and when they split off, they kind of have that. But in the end, we have this big twist, and of course the cliffhanger, which is when we think that Miles gets back to his own universe, but it is not. It's a different universe. It's the universe that the spider that bit him came from, and there's no Spider-Man there. And Gwen actually ended up in his universe. So in that moment in time, he's in that universe, and that, when we get the big twist, we see Aaron Davis, of course, talking with his mom, and realizes that's not but he sees Aaron Davis's uncle is still alive in that universe. But he goes, he thinks that he's the Prowler first, but no. In the end, because he gets captured, no. We see, and that's what I kind of, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh no, they're not really. I think that I know where they're going with this. This is gonna be okay. Like I kind of put that all together at that point, and yeah, the big twist is in that universe, Miles. There's a Miles, and he's the Prowler in that universe, and that is absolutely insane. That's so really cool. He looks really badass as well in that Prowler suit. But that was something very out there, very cool. So overall, that was epic. That was really epic, and I'm very happy about how they set that up as well. He's captured now, he's there, and it just leaves it off for a perfect, irritating but perfect cliffhanger. And we see Gwen then collect all the spider people that he knows of close by. Like she gets Peter B. Parker, she gets all the ones, Spider Noir, Spider Ham, and and everybody else, Penny Parker as well is there. Everybody's there that are like mainly closer, I believe, Spider Punk also, but I can't remember exactly right now. But he at least gave her this. He gave her this kind of. He left it to her father, and he gave it to her, and she got this kind of. The wristband thing that they kind of use to stabilize and move between universes and stabilize themselves. So she got a special one of those from Hobie, and she sets off now to go and save Miles and fix everything, and that's gonna come in the next movie, which is 10 months away, pretty much in March of next year. I think March 29th or 26th or something of next year. So you have to wait 10 months, which is a thing, but it'll be worth the wait. It'll definitely be worth the wait, and I'm very happy about this movie. It's so good throughout the whole thing, and I love the beginning of it as well. I love you start off with some of Gwen's backstory and here how she gets in and how she gets involved with Miguel and all that, and then we get to the starting credits, like pretty much, and into stuff. I love how they kind of did that and set it up in the beginning. Usually I'm a little bit but leaving credits too far in, but this was just a perfect way to handle it, perfect way to put it. So overall, super happy about this movie. So good, incredible. If you haven't, like, I'm gonna go see it again. Definitely. So do that as well. You do yourself a favor and do it again. I wouldn't say if you haven't seen, but you probably have if you're watching this, or if you don't care, still, and you just don't care about spoilers. But go see it anyways, because it's such a good one. It's such a good movie. Despite being animation, everyone can get enjoyment out of this, and I believe it definitely will be getting some Oscar buzz as well once again. But I can't wait for the sequel. It's gonna be very epic next year to see what happens, how they conclude it all. But yeah, that's gonna pretty much do it. Overall, 3 movie reviews like this. I'm sorry, go a little long, almost 40 minutes, but hey, that's how it is sometimes. Hope you guys did enjoy this. If you did, leave a like down below, and also subscribe if you're not done already, and ring that notification bell to get notified next time I upload, which will hopefully be soon again. So yeah, until then, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.